I want to start off by talking about the young men you met in a prison in Iraq.
Well, you know, this was a fascinating thing. When you and I see them, and your reporters are covering them, they have these huge black beards. I sometimes think they backcomb the beards to look more ferocious. And they're wearing Darth Vader-like clothing as they march down the streets of Mosul. So when they get to the prison, they have to shave the beards. They don't have to shave their mustache, but they have to shave the beard. And all the clothing they wear in the prison is sewn by the prisoners. So they've all got these brown vests and T-shirts on. And you're right, you strip that off, you find out how young they are. And by now they're in prison, so they probably cleaned up their thinking a little bit.
Because when you look at these pictures that Peter Bragg, who was traveling with you, shot, famous Canadian news photographer, it doesn't look like what you would imagine to be an Iraqi prison.
It's so true. Everything's white. The walls, the ceiling, the floor, the bars are white. But within the prison, there's metal workshop, auto workshop, wood workshop, school. The man who runs it, you know, they're anticipating what is to come in the future. How are these people ever going to get along with each other again? This ancient Mesopotamia is so blood-soaked. Nobody trusts anybody. So he said reformation and rehabilitation has to be part of the prison experience.
Is there any evidence that's having any impact on I mean, these young men were either hardened killers or supportive of hardened killers. And we're talking hardened killers.
Absolutely.
Rapists. You name it.
People who would chop your head off, burn you alive in a cage, throw you off a 5-story building if they suspected you were homosexual. These are hardened killers.
Any evidence that this is having an impact on them? I mean, they must have been putting on a bit of an act.
I think it's too soon to say. I don't think the people who are in that prison are the brightest of the lot. One of them was digging himself into a hole. He kept telling me things to better his own situation. We had the photo of a missing girl, and I showed it to him because he was the one in charge of matching up the sex slaves with the commanders. Honest to God, can you imagine that being your job? If we wanted to arrange for the release of that girl, what should we do?
يعني نقدر أخلصها.
You gotta pay ransom.
Who to?
لازم أروح على هذا الشخص اللي يمتلكها.
To the owner of the girl.
بس يعني هذه الشغلات ولو واحد يحكي في شغلات يقول أسوي وما أسوي بس يعني إذا أطلع يعني كثير شغلات أقدر أسوي.
If they release me, I can help them in many cases.
I mean, he was digging himself into a hole. But the hardliners, you know, I looked at them and I thought, which one of you would drive a truck into the Bastille Day ceremonies? Which one of you would take a gun into Orlando?
You had one of the guards warn you not to buy into the lines they were giving you.
Maybe I have an affinity for bad people, but I did start feeling sorry for some of these kids I was interviewing because they were giving me what I hoped they would, but I realized they were getting themselves into a spot. And I made some remark about poor kid as he walked away, and the guard said to me, "Don't kid yourself. Every one of these men would rape you or behead you in a second." I am a mother. I am a grandmother. I am a woman, and I am not Muslim. Would you kill me?
لا الإسلام ليس دين قتل.
But ISIL does a lot of killing.
ولكن داعش تقتل الكثير من الناس.
هو تنظيم هو قتل ما أنا أقتل.
I mean that Daesh is gonna kill you, not me, but the Daesh is gonna kill you.
Let's now try to deal with which in so many ways must have been much harder, dealing with these young women. In some cases you sat down alone with, including this young girl here.
You know, there's a question about showing the faces, especially of underage girls who've been raped. All of them, the women, the girls, the men who were on the edge of the interview said, you take our story to the world. And these girls, the young girls, said to me, I look forward to the day I can stand up in a court and tell the whole world what those men did to me. This is my name, this is my face, this is what they did. If you saw him again, would you be able to say, that man took me?
Yes, I will recognize.
Do you think you need a chance to say to the world, in front of that man, this is what happened to me?
Yes, I do. Even I wish for that day.
The things they did to them are almost unspeakable. The young girls told me they didn't even know how to describe some of these things. It was a 12-year-old who told me the ISIS fighter would prostrate himself and bow to the east and pray, and then turn around and rape her, and she was tied up on the end of his prayer rug. The things they did to these kids, and the older women, I think I can quote them directly in saying, they did everything to us that was morally dirty. They humiliated us, they hurt us, and that's when they said, they put their hands in the air and said, take our story to the people, tell the people. It is so terrible, Peter, what happened to those women and girls.
So when they say, take our story, take it to the people, what are they hoping for?
They're very direct. They said, why does nobody care about us? The first woman I sat down with, she's 31 years old, and she said to me, why should I tell you my story? I told you before, nobody came to help us. And it's true. I mean, everyone's been there. Amnesty's been there, Human Rights Watch, the UN. But as you and I sit here today, 450,000 Yazidis are either displaced, dead, or being used as sex slaves. That girl right there, her name's Amira, and she said to me, if anyone cared about us, we would all have been rescued by now, but nobody cares. She has a tattoo on her arm that says, bring back my people. But 12 years old, saying, if you cared about us, you would have helped us. They want to go home, and they want to know that someone's got their back. What is that you're wearing around your neck?
Surah Ibrahim.
Why are you wearing that around your neck?
ده هردي ميل بام بوكاي مرة.
To always be close to me.
Where is he?
ده 11.
He's taken by ISIL.
And you can watch the full interview with Sally Armstrong on One. Check it out at cbc.ca/Mansbridge.